let me get this straight. Okay, everyone. So I'm coming from you straight from my home. Let me change my glasses. Put on my right ones. There we go. How we looking here? Okay, so let me get started. So one thing I want to talk about today is online. You have a lot of movement. You call it the MGTOW movement, the IGMORS movement, and Incels. And what these are a group of men who feel frustrated with the dating pool and their lack of access to women of high quality women or the most desirable women. A lot of these men feel like they get the bottom of the barrel women, or the women who, if they are pretty, have already been abused, used, have children out of wedlock or whatever. They feel these women are either now past their dating market value or have reached their dating market expiration date. So a lot of these men are angry and they're frustrated, and you hear them complain. You may see another thing you hear them talk about is from the black side is swirling. That's black women that they feel date only white men. So you hear from all types of men, mainly black and white men and Puerto Rican, a lot of American men, period, sit around complaining about their lack of access to desirable women. Or when it comes to statistics, that 80% of women are only dealing with 20% of the men, 20 to 30% of the men. So that means a lot of women are man sharing. And these women are dating the men that they feel are the most desirable. The high value men is what you would call them. So you have alpha males, you have beta males, and then you have high value men, which are really what are in style right now. High value means that these men are respected by their peers. These men have masters of their own destiny, and they have master of their own financial destiny. And these men have mastery of their own social life, their social climate. These men have mastery over. So what I want to say, and I like to talk about sales and business, and this ties into that because I say to men, just like it says in the Bible, I think it's Ecclesiastes 10:9, that money answers all things. It doesn't say some things, it said answers all things. So when I say that, a lot of these men, they're frustrated because they don't have the means, the financial means or the social means to get these women, the top 20 women in the, hold on, let me mute my phone. All right, there we go. So a lot of these men don't have access to the top 20 desirable women. And I say it comes down to money and popularity. It does come down to that. Why? Because you don't hear Denzel Washington complaining about women. You don't hear Brad Pitt. You don't hear Bradley Cooper. You don't hear Quentin Tarantino. You don't hear Will Smith. You don't hear Michael B. Jordan, the actor. You hear none of these men complaining about women or the quality of women. Why? Because they have access to an abundance of women. They have an access to just about any woman these men desire, they can get. They don't ask women to date them. Women ask them. They get approached. So to all you men, I want to tell you to try to stay away from those movements. Why? I watched MGTOW for a while and I just saw that there was something just not right about it. I saw a lot of men that I felt were just angry and jilted. Yes, and people get burned. But once again, the more you have financially, the more you have, let's say you have your social life in order. I mean, you have no chaos. You have no baby mama drama. You don't have just no drama, period, in your life. That's out of your control. Meaning that the drama in your life is not going to impact her. And you're on top of yourself financially where you really don't need to be in a relationship. It's your choice. Once you get to that level, you find that women will come to you, and it would be a lot easier for you. And this is something women could just smell on a man. Women know when a man is in control of his own destination. They can tell when a man's a mastery of his own life. And it comes down to knowing how to sell. It's a very competitive market right now. The internet, social media, all of that has just made the dating pool a lot more challenging, especially for men. Because when you're dating someone, you're on a date with a woman and if she's even halfway decent, her phone is going off and she's like this most of the whole date, right? Because she has plenty of options. You want to be that man that when she's on a date, she turns those off and she doesn't even look at it. and she's letting you know that you have my undivided attention. You're the one that I'm choosing. And with this dating market being so congested, that means you have to work on your salesmanship. Meaning you have to go beyond just game now. Because a lot of men who were broke used to rely on game. And they would just game on, spit game, whatever. But now, we're past that now. Because after a while, women get tired of hearing the same old lines again and again and again. The last guy told her what all he was going to do for her. But never showed that. So now we live in a show and tell. We live in that kind of era now where it's like people don't want you to just tell them that, they want you to show them that. So they should be able to look, and one way is a woman will be able to look right at your social media profile and could tell what you're about. Now she could read your posts and see a lot of women commenting on your posts. She would see the amount of friends or followers that you have. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in. So she's going to look at that and determine how much she's going to value you and what your weight is. Right? So you want to constantly develop yourself to where anyone could just pick the phone up, look at your social profile or whatever, and realize who they're dealing with, the caliber that you're playing on. And that means, once again, you have to master salesmanship. If you don't master the art of closing the deal, and this is why I say one of my best friends recommended that I take a sales job. He said that's the best way to build character and to overcome rejection, is to take on a job where you have to sell and meet a quota. I was always turned off to that, but once I did it, I became a top seller. And it started to become easy, because once you become a top seller, then you know how to overcome rejection. All your fear of the no, after a while, you start to welcome those no's because you know how to turn the conversation around. It's no different when you're dating. When you're approaching a woman that's of high value, and let's say not even high value. The average woman today, if she's halfway decent, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest, if she's a 6, you can best believe this is going off constantly. Her social media page, she's getting constant attention from men. How do you compete with that? Do you just give up and become an incel and sit on your computer pissed off at women and complaining about women? Or do you become a MGTOW, and men going their own way? Or IGMOR, right? Just sitting around, or a swirler basher. Do you become that? Or do you look and say, wait a minute, if I see this guy walking around with one of the finest woman in the world, as far as his dating field is, as far as his arena is, he's dating the hottest woman in his arena, or hottest women in his arena, how do you tell yourself, how do I do that? It's not really about how good looking you are. Because I can tell you, I had a good friend of mine who wasn't even the best looking guy, and he was also short. But he knew this guy owned his own home. He made a nice income for himself, but he's very confident in his ability to approach women, very confident in that. And he used to tell me, listen, if you're afraid to get rejected, guess what happens? She's going to reject you. She's going to sense that. And this guy was only maybe 22 at the time when he told me that. Right? So you too, you got to think about all those women in the dating pool that you want to be in. You got to look at that and see how do you get yourself on that level? And it may take some work. And that's what a lot of people don't want to do. They don't want to take that time to develop themselves. They don't want to put that work in. They just want to wake up tomorrow and go outside and be able to compete. It's no different with business, right? If you start a business today, you can't go out there and expect to compete with Walmart, right? You know it's going to take time. Now, you may not be able to totally compete with Walmart, but you may have a specific product that people may come to you for before they would go to Walmart in your arena, in your area. And you got to look at yourself in the dating pool the same way. You got to say, maybe you need to dress a little better. If you're a good-looking guy, it's going to help you to dress better. If you're not the best-looking guy, you know you can go to a thrift shop and get used name brand clothing. You can go and get used Gucci, whatever. You can get used stuff and wear it just to present yourself. It's going to change how you feel about yourself when you look at yourself and know that you look good. But then you also want to get out there and just start talking and meeting people. Just don't even try to pick up the woman. Just get out there and start breaking the ice with different people. And then you start to develop the social confidence to approach people. Then you start working on trying to get phone numbers and closing the deals. The more you do that, the more rejection you get. They say in sales, every 10 sales pitches will result in 1 sale. So what you want to do is use that experience And notice what you say and the things that you do that always closes the deal, right? When you speak to women, notice that when you do this, this goes wrong. When you say that, that goes wrong. But when you shifted your body this way, or when you looked at her this way, or when you told this type of story, the response that you got, then you want to start taking those little things like that and building on it. But the point is, you have to be a salesperson. There's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. Unless you're going to be a cyber geek who's just, you're good at being on the computer alone in the dark and having fun just with yourself online or meeting people online. And some people that, they're content with that because they feel that's the best that they can do, is go in chat rooms and online apps, dating apps, meeting women online, but knowing that they don't have the confidence to pull that off in person. So they'll just string the women along online and never actually meet. Or they know that they don't have the financial means to even take the girl out for a slice of pizza or to a movie. So they'll just string the woman along online, or they'll get really pissed off at the woman when they make a date and expect the woman to Dutch or pay. Listen, these are the cards we were dealt, right? So if you're going to get mad about it, just sit home and be miserable and hate women and hate the men out here that are doing well at the game. So that's it. I appreciate any comment you may have or any feedback. If you want my dating advice or my business advice, you know where to reach me. My contact info is in my About page, and it's also down below. Please like this video. Please share it. Please comment.